Hi guys, and welcome to I think it's the 5th video now in the series on At Lance's Point. And in this one, I'll be covering melee combat. I'm going to do things a bit differently though. I'm just going to run through a scenario. The basic combat rules and the shooting combat pretty much covers the majority of the rules. There are a couple of things that will crop up in this, which hopefully I'll be able to cover in more detail then. The way it goes, I'm bound to forget bits and bobs regarding the rules. So, regardless, you're going to need a going to need to download the rule book from our website at Grenza Games. But these rules are going to give you, or these videos are going to give you a really good grounding in what the rules are about and how things work out. So in this one, I've got a cavalry charge here from some Roman Auxilia cavalry lined up against some Celts. In the charge rules, you need to have a certain distance between your units before you can charge effectively and gain the charge bonuses, if there are any, or actually gain the charge status as well. For medium cavalry, which these guys are, because their armour is 4/6, their charge range is 2 inches. So as long as they are further than 2 inches away from the enemy when they charge them, that's fine. Now, something I haven't mentioned before in the rules is threat range. So the threat range on a unit is half the distance, or half of its movement to its front. So these guys have a threat range of 3 inches, and these guys will have a threat range of 5 inches. Now, it doesn't really matter too much in this situation, but where it matters is when you have skirmishers and that sort of stuff. So I'll come back to that later, but it is something I've missed and I do need to cover. So, in regards to this, these guys here could not have moved towards this cavalry and got within their threat range unless they were going to charge into them or shoot them. Vice versa, the cavalry could not have moved to within 3 inches of these guys unless they were going to charge them or shoot them in that turn. So in this situation here, there's going to be a gap of probably at least 5 inches, especially if these guys are moved up, or it'll be 3 inches if these guys are moved and they move to the edge of the 3 inch mark and these hadn't charged them. So, their armour's 4/6. As we've mentioned repeatedly in the past, the Celts' armour is 6/8. And let's have a look here. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the cards and sort of like how the cards stack up and how you play them and how that works. So we'll do the basic bit. The player activates his cavalry, or activates the formation that the cavalry's in, then activates the cavalry unit and charges them into these guys. These cavalry are armed with spears, mounted spearmen, so they instantly have an impact of +1, so that increases their armour to 7/9. Now, we'll roll naturally. Instead of me creating dice or putting dice out on the table, we'll roll naturally. There we go. So, this base here does 3 damage to the far base, and this base does 4 damage to that base. Because their armour's been pushed up by 1 above 6, they're both dice on +1s, so that goes from 4, and that one goes up to 5. So, already, these guys are looking pretty ropey. So, if I put some markers out briefly, do I need to? No, I don't really need to. What we'll do then is play the break-in card. Now these cards aren't exactly accurate. We're currently going through the cards again now, editing the last time. They'll have icons at the side of them and at the top to show when they can be played, what the effects are and that sort of thing. But this one roughly says, on a charge, disorder enemy base that has casualties inflicted on it. So that base is disordered and that base is disordered because they both had casualties inflicted on them. That's kind of a good thing, because now, put that there, that front base because it's disordered, or the front 2 bases, their armour goes up to 810, which means any D6 attack rolled against them is going to have +2, not +1. Makes no difference because the cavalry charge is already finished. But the cavalry player then plays the charge home card. Charging cavalry will make an extra attack with their front rank. So those 2 bases get to attack again. We'll use different coloured dice this time. And they roll, there we go, 6 and 5. So the 6 with the added +2, because it's over the maximum range of 6 there. 6 + 2 is 8, hits the armour, bounces off. The 5 + 2 is up to 7, which I can't do on this dice, there we go, which makes that dice, or that damage inflicted by that base, 11. Now, a base can't go above 8 damage, so it's destroyed. Now, importantly, which is one of the reasons I did this, damage is not shuffled back to the bases behind in melee combat when you inflict the damage. So, even if I inflict, I don't know, 39 damage on that base, that one's utterly destroyed, but the base behind it suffers no damage. So you can only take a maximum of the 8 damage that they can all take. So now, those 2 bases follow up. Again, not a lot I can do unless I play another card. This card, Wedge, rear rank, may now fight during a melee. So this base here and this base here may both fight. So all the same modifiers to apply, those are gone. We're all some extra dice now. So here, this base at the front has a 5, 6, or 1, sorry, +2 is 3, which destroys that base. And the unit follows up, or the bases follow up. And against the far base over there, 3. Now, the disordered bases have been destroyed. So this base here, no longer disordered. The armour is 7, so it gets +1. So that goes up to 4. So now, this unit of Celts has lost its front 2 ranks completely. They've been obliterated. And this base here has taken half damage. Now, when it comes to the Celts' turn, they'll drop back down to 6-8 again because it's not a charge anymore. And they'll attack the cavalry, who are going to get pretty badly damaged, to be fair. So, the cavalry player plays the bounce out card. Now, on all these cards, they have the same indicators in the top of them. So, a quick explanation of those. Up here, they all say cavalry, which means they can all be played on a cavalry unit. And over here, they all have the keyword charge, which means they can all be used on a charge action. So there. So now, bounce out. The bounce out card. What's that say? After the unit fights in melee, move the unit up to its full movement away and unform it. It's not actually what it says on this card. You can read that, but that's what it will say soon. So this unit moves 10 inches in about faces, moves away from the unit it just attacked up to its full movement, and then becomes unformed, part of the wheeling around and running away bit. Leaving these guys sat here looking very sorry for themselves because there's no way they can reach them on a charge. Importantly, cavalry can only charge once in a game. After that, you put a blown marker on it and it can't charge again. Unless you play the second win card. A cavalry unit may remove their blown status. So, this cavalry, having charged once in the following turn, it reforms using a dice roll, turns around, and that'll be its turn for that, unless it had a card that allowed it to automatically reform. And then in the following turn, if they still haven't moved up, you can play second wind and charge into them again, doing what's called cycle charging. So, that's a quick description of how melee works. If the charge happens in the flank or in the rear, as does happen quite often in this game, the damage would have been even more extensive. The hits to the units, we'll cover that in the next video, and I'll go through morale, and I'll use this situation here as an explanation of how morale works. So cheers guys. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys, thank you, bye.